Joyful Manifestation is being broadcast live on iHeart, iTunes, and many other stations.
Hi, this is Sugandhi Iyer for the Joyful Manifestation Show. Welcome back. You know, I've been observing a lot of things even while I'm traveling. And yes, I'm traveling, so you might hear some ups and downs because, I'm going to places where I don't have my own internet supply, which I can assure, at least to a certain extent, that it's kind of stable. So I'm traveling. There's an AC going on in the background and a fan rotating at the same time, going around and round and stirring the air. So, joyful manifestation. I did realize one thing though. Once we get into the energy of joyful manifestation, we become carriers, suppliers of that energy also because the universe, the good part of the universe, the one that does good things for people, directs energy to flow through people who are carriers of joyful manifestation energy, good fortune energy. And when I go to a place or a retail place or a place where any kind of business is going on, their business grows. It just grows suddenly. And even getting a slot, an appointment for me becomes difficult because, well, a lot of customers seem to be attracted to the place that I choose to go to. And of course, it's purely because of goodwill and my own good fortune that I end up getting an appointment anyway. But I do see that there is a change. There is a shift that happens. A business that was not doing as well suddenly starts to become completely full. And like I said, it is just my personal good luck that I end up getting appointments. And it's okay. It's okay. I mean, hey, somebody else prospers from my presence. I'm happy. And of course, if I do stop visiting that place for some reason or the other, the business does not grow to that extent. It does not. It probably shrinks. And I've noticed that a few times also. Because obviously, once I stop going to a certain place, it's very few times that I would actually pay attention to what's going on there with the business. And think of people who are connected to each other. So recently, my mother was saying we are not in our home right now. We're traveling. And my mother was saying that, we need to get our car serviced and oil change everything. And this town, we can do it here since we're here for a few days. And I was considering that, okay. Next thing we know, after 20 minutes, half an hour, we went to my aunt's house, uncle and aunt. So my aunt suddenly said, the first thing she said was, our driver is really good. He'll take your car and have it serviced. Anything you need for your car. How is your car? Okay. By the way, it's an SUV, not really a small family car, but it's an SUV. So I was thinking, my mother was talking about it, and my mom and my mother and my aunt they're sisters. My mother and aunt did not have a conversation about this. I was not talking about our car, to her previously. suddenly, as soon as we enter her house, she's asking about the car and having her driver take it to get serviced, etc., etc. Whatever you want, we'll have it done. He can get it done for you. So what is this? Vibrations that are being passed between sisters, between family members, and especially between people who are aligned with each other. And we all know about alignment. We all know about law of attraction. And people who are aligned with each other seem to pass messages telepathically. Okay, so they pass energy, they pass messages. And this is a real life example of something that just happened like this. And another example, right now I'm in this town and I'm doing this show and I will be leaving soon. But a couple of days ago, while I was here in this town, I sent my sister-in-law some photographs, images of Indian gods who are here in this town. Basically, they belong to this region and they protect this region and the people of this place, of this region. And I sent them to her and I said, these are protected gods. I sent her 4 photographs, images that I downloaded from the internet. I sent it to her, mentioning their names. And then after some time, this was on another day, a previous day, to this car thingy. So after some time, what I did was I suddenly had a thought. I told my family, let's go to this place and buy some curtains, or at least have a look at them to see if they have, better curtains. Because the last time I was here, the last to last time actually, I saw the curtains and they were pretty nice, and you couldn't get that where we normally reside. And so I said, let's go look at the curtains. And I was thinking of curtains that are glamorous. I go there, and you won't believe this, and I have never seen this happen. I have never seen this. The curtains there, they had a stock, other than the normal ones, but they had a stock of curtains with the images of gods that I sent my sister-in-law a few minutes to that, prior to that. Beautiful curtains, and the images of gods that I sent to my sister-in-law, which I downloaded from the internet, were on these curtains. Like let's say there is a door-sized curtain, a floor-length curtain, correct? Not a window-size. Either way, nowadays, we don't put window-sized curtains. We use long drapes everywhere. That's really the fashion. So huge curtains, door size, and each curtain had printed on it, and that's the only thing that was there on the curtain, according to the size of the curtain, a huge image of a god. I was stunned. Well, delightfully stunned. I bought quite a few of them. Now, it's not that I'm going to be replacing the drapes in my house with the, living room, this, that, but it was just beautiful to have them. And you can always use it in the room that you use for your altar or something like that. But even to get those curtains with these huge images of gods, the gods that I sent my sister-in-law a few minutes back, and I had no knowledge about this particular store selling these curtains, because the last time I went there, they had normal, good living room curtains and bedroom curtains. But I have never seen a curtain with huge images of gods on it. So, I bought a bunch of them, each one particular god. And like I said, I'm not going to be using them in my living room, etc., or bedroom. But, just to have those curtains with you and maybe use them in your altar or something, but altar room. But what I'm saying is that we don't need to be hanging curtains of God images, but the very fact of having a supply of these suddenly pop up from somewhere, and I've never seen curtains with images of gods on them, but it was the energy vibration that I was flowing at that point. I was flowing God image or God energy to somebody in my family, and then I got the same thing back from the universe because I was in alignment with that particular thing happening. So think about it. Whatever we flow, whatever we are going towards, that is what we get more of. You know, we are creators. It's just what it is. Okay, let me tell you one more thing that happened. My aunt and uncle here, they own their own hospital. They own it. They built it. They own it. So, and a few homes, etc. So, well, they're well off, you know. He's not retired. He's still working. He's a surgeon, orthopedic. And so what happens is they have this huge house built next to the hospital, land and everything. And they're so generous. They gave the hospital to one son, and they gave this huge home to another son. And to their daughter, they gave something else, you know, and they built their own separate home, and they live in that, and they have another home somewhere else, and all these things are happening. But I always liked this particular home for my aunt and uncle because they originally built it. It's theirs, I really feel. And I was just thinking how nice if, you know, they could get that house back, or if they could get a similar house next to that particular area, you know, and they could be close to their family and things like that. So I particularly like this house a lot. Oh my God, a few hours later, I'm hearing that the son wants to dispose of that house, buy an apartment, and move somewhere else. And that my uncle and aunt have a complete chance, the opportunity to get their original home back. Obviously, they're going to pay for it because they already gave it to their son. But these things happening, I mean, we think about something and then we manifest something else, and things just happen so quickly. And it's not that I'm going around talking to people and forcing them to do things, but nope, it's just happening on its own. We have a thought and we manifest it. And remember I said it's not even about desire, because I desired it. For sure, I desired that house for my uncle and aunt because they built it, right? And I desired that for them. But it's not that I was crazily desiring it. I probably, because of whatever beingness that I spoke about the last time, because of who I am, and it's for all of us here, I'm not separating myself from you, all of us, because of who we are, because of what we're vibrating all the time. We are pushing energy. We are manifesting in this world, and the universe and the people who are aligned to us especially become our co-creators, and we end up having what we want. So the desire gets fulfilled anyway. We get what we want. But I am really telling you, this is about people that we are aligned with. This is about people whose minds, our minds, match, at least to a certain extent, and on very important topics. When I started the Joyful Manifestation Show, and that was, I think, December 7th, 2017. I was in a certain energy at that time, and some influences of energies that were around me and myself aligned, and the show was started. It came into existence, And after that, we have the Good Fortune Show, which is also a sister show. It is aligned to Joyful Manifestation. So everything is about alignment and people who are aligned to us and people who are co-creators and people who quote unquote get us. GET space US. Get us. They understand us. They understand who we are. They understand something, and their minds connect with our minds, and something is created like a baby almost. And so we're all manifesting things. And I was driving around in India, and I saw a bunch of Range Rovers. And I remember a few years back, I used to notice Range Rovers a lot. But then I found out that India is the one that's producing them. Oh, we're the owners? India is the owner of the whole Range Rover, Land Rover, the whole bunch. And to even have my country associated with that, to be manufacturers of this car, and then I see it all around in India, because that's what a lot of people are driving, people who are well-to-do, people who love good cars, you're driving that around. And what are these? Coincidences? Or is this conscious creation? Conscious, unconscious creation? Something is happening in space that energies that meet, energies that match, energies that align somehow seem to create magic. Somehow seem to create magic, and people who have good intentions, people who want good, somehow manage to create good. Somehow they manage to create good. And so we're talking about a whole bunch of people who are manifesting good and who are creating good, and people who intend good for other people. And it's a case of, okay, what is it that made me want my uncle and aunt to have their original home back, a grand home, right? With a lot of land around it, and then the hospital that they constructed next to it, which they gave to another son. And they moved into another home, which is also pretty, but it's kind of in a smaller street. So what happens there? When I went to this other home of theirs, I've been there a few times now, but I was in the US a lot of time. I was always in the US. So when I came back a few months ago, when I say when I came back, I'm just kind of hanging out here for a bit. And I saw this home that they're living in. I felt immediately, okay, so let me say, my immediate preference is on a grander level. My personal preference is always on a grander level. It's just how I am. Bigger houses, more land, more walking space. People can walk around. They have a huge driveway. So my preference is go towards that. And automatically, that is what I want for people also. And this is just me. So my preferences are luxurious or on a grander scale, to be very modest. And then my preferences for the people that I care about, for the people that I notice, is automatically on that level. And then what happens is people start to manifest things. People start to manifest things because it's my desire for them. It may not be that it's a huge desire, but it just comes automatically, and then it just starts to manifest. And maybe it's because of I am beautiful, I am powerful, brackets, in a good way. I'm motivated. I am spiritually aligned. I am a person who prefers luxurious things too, things which are just very simple. So my immediate attention goes towards things that are grander and more luxurious. It's just how I am. It's how I was born. It's how I grew up. It's just something that is part of me right from when I was a cell. And even before that, because my parents, they always talk about, well, not always talk about, when they do talk about it. And they talk about how, what I know is that they come from families that always had big houses, huge houses. And they were well off always. They ate really well. They wore good clothes. And in fact, my mother's side of family, they even had groves of coconut trees and mango trees behind their home that they owned. And their home opened up on the banks of a grand river. And so they were used to all of this fresh food and bathing in the rivers, spending time there, having fun. So this is where they come from. So I probably had it even as a kid, as a baby, that my father's side, my mother's side, everything was on a much grander, bigger scale. And for those people who are not used to that, now, if somewhere there is a desire in you to go towards that, then start to make choices that are slightly bigger. Slightly bigger choices. So let's say a person is driving a very tiny car. Even if he's not able to buy one immediately, should start looking towards a slightly better model, slightly larger car, and practice this, follow this with everything. And it's the same for people who start businesses. I know beauticians here who start their business in a very small room, one small room. And then now they're owning 2 to 3 salons already, and bigger, grander. Now, why is all this happening? Because God believes in expansion. He doesn't believe in contraction. He doesn't believe in going smaller. He believes in going larger and larger and larger, not in reducing the size of his existence, but in increasing it. Now, for those countries originally who used to conquer other countries, I'm not saying that's the right thing to do, because it's really not okay to take somebody else's property. Everything has karmic consequences. But when we talk about the tendency to grow, that is where they came from. They wanted to increase their empires. They wanted to increase the land owned by their kingdom. And so they kept increasing and increasing and increasing. And so you have Alexander the Great, who conquered, and people who are similar to that, who believe in increasing the land that they own. Of course, everything has to be balanced. We don't want to go all crazy and take other people's property and then claim it's ours, because everything has karmic consequences. It's all a balance. But originally, the seed of expansion that people have is what motivates growth. It's what motivates people to even try to get to the next level. And so my cousin here, the one that I said owns these farmlands, he's busy growing rice and paddy and all kinds of things. Again, he is in the state of expansion. Expanding his business, expanding his products, researching into what he wants. And of course, we're really talking about money right now. So let's go into work and career, money manifestation. We will take a couple of minutes break, listen to some music, and come back soon. So don't go away. Hold on tight. Hi, this is Sugandhi Iyer, the Joyful Manifestation Show. Welcome back. So, money. Wow. And when you think about it, what is money? And there is a town over here where they don't use money. They use services. So if somebody goes to a restaurant, what they do is they enter into their register who they are, and they have a certain, what they call an account number. So they put the account number into the register. And when they've eaten in that restaurant, they put that number either before or after they've eaten. Then that is not paid for. The food that they eat in the restaurant is not paid for. It is actually credited or debited. What is it? Whatever the word is. But the person who eats there, has to do some work or service. And it gets adjusted next to or against any service that she has already provided somebody else and has not taken money for, or that